Ready for our next DOMINUM entry? Bit of a surprise one too, in that it was sort of a Christmas present for me. I was on Instagram, in fact, that night, and it just popped up that, hey, DOMINUM's got something in the works. I don't know if it was intended as a Christmas surprise. Maybe it was announced a little earlier, but I don't make it onto social media all that often, other than this. But I did see it, and I'm like, okay, DOMINUM, we've had 4 promising entries so far, the latest of which, Cannibal Corpses, was such a great number. Real fun, and again, a beautiful balance between seriousness of craftsmanship and a light campiness. I really like that number. It's an instant replay, especially with the visualizer concerned, which is just a straight band performance. It's a great piece to entertain. Another fantastic contribution to the entirety of so far of what we've been able to engage with Hey Living People. 4 singles in and now added on with the 5th, which seems to be quite reminiscent not only of past DOMINUM releases on a visualizer respect, but pretty extensive, it seems, visual presentation, at least by the teasers that were put out early. And what I saw, it looks like we're in for another engaging entry, and DOMINUM has proven to be quite a capable group. One of growing regard as they're deserved, and that's true for any group in terms of European metal origin, however familiarized or new. And another worthy entry of Napalm Records' library. I'm really curious to hear more from this group. And of course, the album debuts pretty soon. In fact, with 2 days. This is sort of the fanfare performance to that, I believe, on the 29th. Yes, the album comes out. Whether or not I have time to do... it used to be a bit of an exception move here in terms of artist surveys, which you take quite often in the music space. I've always said music is best enjoyed collaboratively on a broad respect, too, in terms of world-based talent, not just with the European Metal Library, but it is a particular favorite of mine. And another band, by the way, of German origin, if you're not familiar, which that's proven to be quite capable on the folk extreme, of which DOMINUM, there will be a connection coming up. I believe I did see that they will be one of the features on the upcoming Feuerschwang shows on their tours, and I love Feuerschwangs, but DOMINUM, I think, will be quite an attractant for any new ears through those tour experiences. But maybe new to your ears. Some of you, I know, they're approaching, like me, in an informed perspective, of a band a lot younger in their days, but with a long future, I think it's fair to say, ahead of them. I've truly liked seeing the metal caliber offered with a zombie metal aesthetic, or if you want to be more inclusive to differentiated tones, brought in horror metal, but certainly zombie metal explicitly, that's been captured by the Frankensteinian type monsters that have been unveiled. A brilliant concept, pretty fresh in my library, but another worthy addition to my worthy addition to not only my particular library, but our spotlights here of many artists. DOMINUM has been quite a welcome ride, and I hope you feel the same if you've not yet been welcomed into the graces of zombie metal before. Again, an independent concept with quite a characterization that stands out in itself to whatever member of the group, or I guess creation of Dr. Dead look at. Again, there's so much creativity to DOMINUM. I love exploring them, and I hope that for some of you who have not yet been introduced, Hey Living People, the title number, in fact, I've still loved the irony of that name. It's fantastic. Just a real fun energy. Again, the seriousness of vision and craftsmanship on musical scoring, which there's been some really good vibes to this one. A bit of I would say, a Glory Hammer retreat with some other metal extremes brought in. I forget exactly if there's a particular type that's been noted in terms of metal stylization or favorability, but I would qualify them, at least from my humoring, as sort of in the window of power metal, heavy metal, modern metal, kind of in that veneer. It's been a fun appearance, though, with this group. Any entry we've considered, I'm sure the title number will be no different. The third entry on the record of a good block of pieces, the first 5 that will, post this, have witnessed together. And whether or not I return, we'll see. I love to take an album survey of all of you, again, a group, especially one in development, that shows such promise. And there's a couple numbers I know we'll be returning to for sure, but I don't know, phase 2 considerations, I might be able to work them in. This is a long list, and I'm currently trying to make a lot more headway on it in preparation of what's just upcoming for the next year, but maybe I could take a swing. It'd be fun to explore it in depth, right? Let's take a pit stop, again with DOMINUM, a pleasurable one, I would say, on suspicion, with Hey Living People. And see where this goes beyond, again, the little social media clip that was already quite promising. Different extremes on sound, by the way, hit with this group, with their scores.
Like a hemorrhage in the brain, like a waterfall in flames, like a queen with big holes in her gown. Like a
the layered vocal depth on that one was quite picturesque. And still the reminiscence to other groups continues with such prowess demonstrated. Really invigorating score on this one. in a wide key tone. I still love the appearance of this group. It is so fresh. And the drama and the performances is just enveloping. Perfectly commands again the horror tone this group is hoping to illustrate. The concept is fantastic. There's a real depth. It's just so admirable again to that particular. It's these chorus sections that really bring them front and center in my mind. That's such a great section of the song, and the amplification of voice, and plus those little horror tones there. Wow. Fresh set, by the way. It's a nice appearance on the video. Gnarly. Man. I love the vocal transformation on this section. Again, the depth of voice with the added layers. It's so nice. Fits well. Another fantastic single. I love the tone of it. And the new shades that the group demonstrates in terms of reminiscence to other types of metal extremes. Every score I've witnessed now embodies a different extreme on voice. Different extremes within metal development. It's part of the reason, again, I'm quite inclusive in putting them in a particular landscape void of knowledge if there has been a specification other than the zombie metal attribution. There's styles that I see hit on in different shades from each appearance that we've taken in terms of mutual consultation of singles. Notably, I'm sure for most of us on a first introductory basis to every one of the works, given that Dominum is very much a developing voice. But a welcome introduction, again, I think with a long-standing tracking of going forward. I really cannot wait to hear whatever's next from this group, not only with the full album development, however that materializes, whether it be in a mutual accompaniment or an individual survey. It'll be an enjoyable release, I think. The first 5 singles have been, and this one, I love the key of it. And I said the same thing about the last one, that Patient Zero and Danger Danger and Immortalis Dominum all have a definitive and quite appreciative ferocity to them, and the horror concept is beautifully and very creatively manifested, again, with a fun levity vibe thrown in. I think part of it might be just the mask and the body movements. Again, there's a real performance independence with this group that I just really like. More of, I would say, like, by comparisons, and I'm not deep in my survey yet of Slipknot. I've only approached maybe 1 or 2 of their numbers. What's that one? I've cited it before. El Norte, I think. I love that one. Oh my gosh. But even the Slipknot reminiscence, like I said, ties to other groups. And on intro, by the way, I really see, and this is kind of thrown off as of the chorus section. Maybe the verses, though, at least in the second entrance, I noticed it deliberately in the first. This reminded me a lot of, like, for just one split second, 3 Days Grace's lead vocalist. I always forget his name, but I'm like, again, different shades within metal and very well-known talents hit on well and with such fresh prominence. Though I was saying with the first 3 numbers we humored, all of them based on reflection on post-experience now, and many re-listens in fact on my end, they all have a similarity on key, so Cannibal Corpses came in, and again, those 3 pieces were really nice. Ever since Patient Zero, I fell in love with Dominum, but Cannibal Corpses added a real fresh veneer. This one definitely carries with it a cinematic vibe that ties it well to other types of horror media pictures. I'm thinking notably in the visual arts space, maybe with some other related music tones, but I'm not as well in depth of understanding within, again, horror extremes in the music delivery world. I'm trying to, again, Dominum being one of the earlier entries, and maybe there's other groups you can think of in terms of suggestions that you could throw my way. Again, I'm always game for more new names to reference, in particular of developing spotlights of any artist introductions here, but other metal groups that might embody a horror extreme, or really any other groups that might play around with a horror tone, feel free to just send them down, whether they happen to be in the European basis or not. I'm quite open and welcome to adding more onto my list. Dominum definitely has a fresh vibe for me on approach, but I love the way the scores are constructed. And plus the production aesthetics to their videos are quite welcome. I mean, the first 4 numbers were, 2 of them, well, one's animated, partially, and then most of them have had a definitive, and this one did too, to a lighter degree. This is definitely more story-driven, I think, looser, but again, there's a general concept that's, I would say, closest to. It's interesting, too, that they chose this one to sort of bookend the journeys together on single, I believe, visualizer debuts. Unless there's maybe more in store, I don't know. But 5 is a pretty extensive first look. I mean, just, stating the obvious. It's a great welcome one, but I really appreciate it. As an initiate fan for now, and a developing one for the future, many of us, I'm sure, will share in that journey. But to put this one in placement, again, with review on Patient Zero, where that one also had a looser story tied in, where in Immortalis Dominum as well, to be fair, did, even though the last one, Cannibal Corpses, was much more performance static. Each piece has been quite welcome, again, with the aid of the visualizer, and the story here, too, quite funny. I love the delivery of it being, a call to the living. Become more creations of Dr. Dead. It's hilarious. Plus, the makeup department did a really good job of how the costumes look on this video. But the zombie, it's fantastic. Really impressive work from Dominum, whether it be, again, in respect to the illustration or the score. The resonance on the chorus sections with, again, the vocal shifts and the layers too on voice, plus the change up, I believe, on the later the bridge sections, even on the outro closure, the one nearest to that, other than the "Hey Living People" line. I really like. Well, I think that's what closed out the song. In fact, on just light review. Quite welcome choices. Adventurous song with a real life on voice. I love the delivery of it, though. Metal fan of many years, and Dominum instantly appeals again on the aggressive extreme with such prowess demonstrated readily, with a fun, unique vision, easy to get into the vibe of Hey Living People. And we might, again, in the future, we'll see what happens with Phase 2 lineups. Again, it's a robust list, but maybe I can fit them in, hopefully. We'll see, because I'd love to experience more with you, certainly on initial steady. For the first 5 numbers considered, Dominum has been great. I love their voice. I cannot wait to re-listen to this one. In fact, it's going to sound great in my car later today. What are your guys' thoughts of this piece? Again, and how do you approach? Longtime fan or first listen to you? If this is a first listen, again, I highly recommend those first 4 pieces and the upcoming album debut on the 29th. By the time you see this, it'll probably be a bit later, post that. Again, I'm trying to get everything up posted. I'm working a lot ahead of time just for some upcoming stuff I've got into the new year. Happy I could get this one out, though, at least right now, because Dominum, I wouldn't want to wait on Hey Living People based on what I see in that score now. It's such an invigorating rock tune. I just love its extreme, hard voice. Plus, again, the independent personality of what has made Dominum at this point so charming for me. I love it. Favorite group developing voice for me in terms of many replays, and I cannot wait to humor this one in the same style like I have the first 4 numbers. And going forward, my suspicion is Hey Living People in full will continue that same sentiment, I have no doubt. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.